Henry VII of England and Elizabeth of York got married on the 18th of January 1486, thus uniting the former warring factions of Lancaster and York under the new royal dynasty, represented by the Tudor Rose. The Wars of the Roses were a series of civil wars fought over control of the English throne in the mid to late 15th century. These wars were fought between supporters of two rival cadet branches of the royal house of Plantagenet, Lancaster and York. Fought on the 22nd of August 1485, the Battle of Bosworth was won by an alliance of Lancastrians and disaffected Yorkists, supported by France and commanded by Henry Tudor. Richard III, the last English king of the House of York, was killed during the battle, and he was the last English monarch to die in combat. His death at Bosworth Field effectively ended the Wars of the Roses, and Henry declared himself king by right of conquest. Henry VII, the first monarch of the House of Tudor, was King of England and Lord of Ireland from his seizure of the crown on the 22nd of August 1485, until his death in 1509. On the 18th of January 1701, Frederick, Duke of Prussia and Elector of Brandenburg, crowned himself the first King of Prussia in Königsberg. Frederick I of the Hohenzollern dynasty was Elector of Brandenburg and Duke of Prussia in personal union. The Hohenzollern state was then known as Brandenburg Prussia. The family's main possessions were the Margraviate of Brandenburg within the Holy Roman Empire, and the Duchy of Prussia outside of the empire, ruled as a personal union. Although he was the Margrave and Prince Elector of Brandenburg and the Duke of Prussia, Frederick desired the more prestigious title of king. However, according to Germanic law at that time, no kingdoms could exist within the Holy Roman Empire, with the exception of the Kingdom of Bohemia, which belonged to the Holy Roman Emperor. Frederick persuaded Emperor Leopold I to allow Prussia to be elevated to a kingdom by the Crown Treaty of the 16th of November 1700. This agreement was ostensibly given in exchange for an alliance against King Louis XIV of France in the War of the Spanish Succession, and the provision of 8,000 Prussian troops to Leopold's service. Frederick argued that Prussia had never been part of the Holy Roman Empire, and he ruled over it with full sovereignty. Therefore, he said, there was no legal or political barrier to letting him rule it as a kingdom. Frederick crowned himself on the 18th of January 1701 in Königsberg. Although he did so with the emperor's consent, and also with formal acknowledgement from Augustus II the Strong, Elector of Saxony, who held the title of King of Poland, the Polish-Lithuanian Sejm raised objections, and viewed the coronation as illegal. In fact, according to the terms of the Treaty of Bromberg, the House of Hohenzollern's sovereignty over the Duchy of Prussia was not absolute, but contingent on the continuation of the male line, whereas in the absence of which, the duchy would revert to the Polish crown. Therefore, out of deference to the region's historic ties to the Polish crown, Frederick made the symbolic concession of calling himself king in Prussia, instead of king of Prussia. His royalty was, in any case, limited to Prussia, and did not reduce the rights of the emperor in the portions of his domains that were still part of the Holy Roman Empire. In other words, while he was a king in Prussia, he was still only an elector under the suzerainty of the Holy Roman Emperor in Brandenburg. Legally, the Hohenzollern state was still a personal union between Brandenburg and Prussia. However, by the time Frederick crowned himself as king, the emperor's authority over Brandenburg and the rest of the empire was only nominal, and in practice, Brandenburg soon came to be treated as part of the Prussian kingdom, rather than as a separate entity. His grandson, Frederick the Great, was the first of the Prussian kings, formally to style himself King of Prussia. Jan Willem Janssens surrenders the Dutch Cape Colony to the British on the 18th of January 1806. Jan Willem Janssens was a Dutch nobleman, soldier and statesman, who served both as the governor of the Dutch Cape Colony and Governor-General of the Dutch East Indies. In 1795, France occupied the 7 provinces of the Dutch Republic, the mother country of the Dutch United East India Company. This prompted Great Britain to occupy the Cape Colony in 1795, as a way to better control the seas, in order to stop any potential French attempt to reach India. The British sent a fleet of 9 warships, which anchored at Simon's Town. Following the defeat of the Dutch United East India Company's militia at the Battle of Muizenberg, they took control of the Cape Colony. In 1798, the Dutch United East India Company transferred its territories and claims to the Batavian Republic, and went bankrupt in 1799. Improving relations between Britain and Napoleonic France, and its vassal state the Batavian Republic, led the British to hand the Cape of Good Hope, under the terms of the Treaty of Amiens, over to the Batavian Republic in 1803. The temporary peace between the United Kingdom and Napoleonic France had crumbled into open hostilities, whilst Napoleon had been strengthening his influence on the Batavian Republic. The British hoped to keep Napoleon out of the Cape, and to take control the Far East trade routes. They attacked the colony on the 8th of January 1806. Janssens' force was routed, and after the British victory in the Battle of Blouberg, he surrendered the Cape Colony to the British on the 18th of January 1806.